Which cancelled celebrity were you previously a fan of? Not exactly a celebrity, but a pretty famous YouTuber, Cryotic. His downward spiral is heartbreaking. I never expected him to be as much of a piece of shit as he turned out to be. Unlike most actors who get cancelled though, I cannot enjoy his previous content. His personality was the content, and when you find out his personality is actually disgusting, it ruins it. So many of my favorite comfort series are lost now, I cannot in good conscience watch them. Drake Bell. I had a huge Drake and Josh phase in my early teen years and it provided me huge comfort in some dark times. I collected all the merch I could get my hands on, including the CDs and vinyls of his music. When it came out that he's an abuser I threw it all away and it was later revealed he's a groomer too. I hate to say it, but I do miss being able to enjoy the show and music and all the happiness both brought me. I can't believe I'm going to admit this, but young teenage me was definitely on a Colleen Ballinger bandwagon. I stopped watching her after the divorce with Josh because things felt weird, toxic. I hadn't heard about any allegations against her till the awful toxic gossip train incident. Needless to say, I've been fascinated to watch everything unfold this year. I'll never look at a ukulele the same way again. Ryan Haywood, formerly of Achievement Hunter. Loved his sense of humor and his learn by doing approach to games. He was one of my favorites, especially for things like Sky Factory and such. Then news got out that he had been grooming underage fans and sleeping with them during conventions and such. The piece of shit deserved to get canned and blacklisted, but damn, what a disappointment. Chevy Chase. I grew up with him on the TV and never realized what was going on with him. I didn't know about how much of a posse he was until like last year. He is an amazing actor and can really hide how shitty he is on the big screen. Edit to add. That Reddit post sums up what he was like and what happened. Roseanne. When she was first doing stand-up, and then her series, she was funny and relatable to a lot of working-class Americans. Her show depicted a very realistic family and their struggles raising kids, working, and making ends meet. I don't know what happened to her after the show, but she's not the person I used to admire. Sia. I'd give she's actually cancelled, but everything about her movie about autism, they had no help with actually representing autistic people until too late. And their choice of organization was a hate group disturbed me so bad I can't get myself to support her, no matter how much I like her singing. I don't even know if this counts because a lot of you may have never heard of him, but Drew Drechsel. He was a famous competitor on American Ninja Warrior, and then ended up having an affair with an underage girl. Got his ass thrown in jail and his contract with the show and NBC terminated. John Lasseter was a personal hero of mine. Dude was fired from Disney for wanting to push innovation in animation in the 1980s after getting his dream job at Walt Disney Animation. Went on to run all of the animation studios at Disney and lead to a neo-renaissance in Disney animation. Pretty easy for me. I adored and loved Bill Cosby. Once in a while I still catch myself listening to an old routine by him. I laugh, cringe, and then regret the fact I had listened to it again. Man was he funny, but man, what a disgusting human. Ezra Miller. Him being Flash was the one good thing about the Justice League movie. He captured the awkward energy so well. And then he turned out to be a total douche. And Warner Brothers kept working with him for some reason. Winona Ryder. The world demonized her for that shoplifting incident. When looking at things through a rational lens, she was literally just someone going through it who made a stupid but ultimately harmless mistake. Cosby. His first couple of albums were so good and I memorized most of the bits. He did a show for my college's homecoming week, and it was the first concert I ever attended. He was the epitome of cool and nice by Justin Roiland. I thought he was the brains of Rick Morty, but it turns he hadn't contributed in years, and he was a monster to work with. He's a great voice actor, but otherwise I guess he was just lucky. Louis C.K. Loved his stand-up and his role in Parks Rec. He just player himself. Not sure how hard he was cancelled exactly, but he disappeared from my radar after the masturbation incident. Maybe not a celebrity in the traditional sense, but Illuminati Blair Zone. Absolutely terrible person who built a career on calling out terrible people. Bad idea. James Franco. He was and still is my big celebrity crush. He's just very attractive and funny, but watching his old movies, they kinda just don't feel right anymore. Jenna Marbles, but she cancelled herself. She shouldn't have. She was and still is an amazing person and so funny. She was the most genuine person on the internet. Danny Masterson. That 70s show is my comfort show and probably my favorite of all time, and his character was my favorite. Sucks he had to be a piece of shit. Shia LaBeouf, like him on Constantine, Loved Disturbia, Eagle Eye, and original Transformers. Guy went batshit crazy afterwards. To know what happened lol. Danny Masterson. I loved him in that 70s show and Men at Work. Truly sad when I realized he was a disgusting piece of shit. I never would have guessed. Growing up in the 70s and 80s, Cosby. I loved that man. It was hard for me to accept that he was a monster, but that does seem to be the case. Joss Whedon. He wrote my female heroes. Now I won't watch anything with his name attached. Michelle Trachtenberg's statements are what broke me. James Franco. Mostly for his approach to art and education. But goddamn, the man was extended a lifeline so many times and sank his own ship. My little brainwashed Catholic schoolgirl self had a crush on Stephen Collins from Seventh Heaven. I want to throw up every time I think about it. This one goes way past cancelled, but I was a big fan of Lost Prophets. Now I just feel shitty when one of their songs pops in my head. Jared the Subway guy. We all wish that we could lose weight, get paid millions of dollars to eat Subway sandwiches. If we only knew. Louis C.K. I'm so disappointed. I wanted to believe he was sorry, but then he apparently decided to take his comedy into asshole mode. Joss Whedon and J.K. Rowling. Not Rowling the person as much as just loving the books, but I adored Joss Whedon, and that one hurt. Maybe not a mainstream celebrity, but I was a huge fan of Ben Kissel from last podcast on the left until the allegations came out. Rolf Harris. His shows made me passionate about art and drawing as a kid. It broke my fucking heart to find out he was a nonce. Lizzo. She's a gifted musician and seemed to be a lovely person. But you never know who someone really is when they're famous. Honestly, it's the celebrities that haven't been cancelled that blow my mind the most. Chris Brown being at the top of my list. Don't know if this counts exactly, but Chris Benoit. Dude was one of my childhood heroes. That was an intense couple of J's. Joss Whedon. Still love his shows, and at the very least, at least he was just an asshole. But he was an asshole. Well, I was a huge Lost Prophets fan. They were an integral part of my teenage years. That one really stung. Not cancelled, but a whole bunch of celebs who signed the Polanski petition have my immense disappointment lol. Aziz Ansari, although he wasn't really cancelled. He stepped out of the spotlight after a controversy. Ashton Kutcher, I genuinely believed he was doing good, until the whole Masterson shit. Fuck that guy. Will Smith. Although jury's still out on whether he got cancelled, or just retired at the same time. I was a very big James Franco fan up until I found out how much of a piece of shit he really is. Shane Dawson. Only for his conspiracy theories. I didn't watch any of the earlier stuff. Mel Gibson. He's a jerk, but he made a lot of entertaining movies back in the day. Paul Rubens. That whole thing was pretty stupid. He didn't hurt anybody. John Kricfalusi. Used to love Ren Stimpy but can't watch it now. Roman Polanski, of course. But forget it, Jake, it's Chinatown. Ryan Adams. His music meant a lot to me. Still does, honestly. Cosby, for his stand-up comedy rather than shows he's done. Al Franken. And he didn't deserve it in the first place. Sigh, it seems Ben Kissel is being added to this list. Jeffrey Tambor. Larry Sanders is the best show ever.